We'll just keep on rolling. How you been, man?
How you doing?
It's good to see you again. Good to see you. All right, let's talk to Troy Harris, Orlando, Florida. Still hot down there?
Oh yeah, still hot. 95 degrees as I check.
So it was what, like 80 here today?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah, it's
good.
nice here.
It's probably one of the cooler summer camps since you've been here.
It has. I mean, we've really been blessed. I mean, it's been cloudy skies out there. I mean, we have a little bit of rain, cool nights. You know, so I tell the guys, you know, camp, this is easy. This is easy camp right now. So we just got to make sure we push through it, making sure to try to get coach pushed out there in the heat for the day, prepare us for the game. So, you know, it's just.
Well, let's talk about it. I asked Nick a few minutes ago, it's really his first time you've been through it, where you've been preseason this, preseason that. Last year you were MVP, Southland Conference. But let's talk about you, preseason All-American BSN, just this afternoon, D2football.com, first team preseason All-American. It's a great honor. And I know you guys are all humble and you're going to say it doesn't matter, but it's got to just to fill your heart with joy, really.
Oh, I mean, it does. I mean, you know, it's something you want to try not to think about,
right.
But I mean, it definitely is weight on your shoulders. You know, you want to make sure you give the crowd what they want, you give your team what they think of you, and you know, it's just something that you know that you got to do. You got to go out there and you got to try your hardest. You got to be your best. I mean, it's something you want to not think about, but it's always there in the
right.
mind.
You've been here, it's your last summer camp. You're a senior now. You always hear about the senior leadership role. You've been really a leader since probably your sophomore year,
right.
But it's really come to effect now. How have you helped some of these really young guys? He was mentioning some guys a while ago. I never even heard of it before, but how's it going to affect you? Not only having the preseason hype on you to be a great player, but also to be a leader and help these guys.
You know, you just got to push each other. You know, I feel, you know, these guys got to understand that it's a team effort.
Right.
And, you know, it's just not about one player. It's not about what me Holmes does, what I do, what Jasper Mason does. It's a team effort. And if we could get the team to come together as one, and I have outside contemplations or out of school, and just we can come together as one, it's going to help us out. And they need to understand that we can be fighting each other. You know, we're not fights in camp, but come game time, it's the other team.
Right.
And we gotta get at them. So.
Thoughts about Marsville College, or excuse me, Marsville University. I knew I'd say it eventually. Marsville University, you've got 10 regular season games, hopefully 3 or 4 postseason games. After it's all said and done, what's Troy Harris going to do?
You know, every team, every athlete thinks about is NFL. You know,
right?
You know, that's definitely a possibility. But if not, you know, I'm definitely pursuing my degree in health and wellness and kinesiology, and
I can't even spell kinesiology.
Yeah, have an internship lined up and everything. So it's just wherever life takes me.
Let's talk about the season. Let's talk about your team. As I said before, preseason ranked number 4. A lot of good teams ahead of you. Does the team really think about that, or are they just focused on Saturday kickoff?
You know, I think some of the teammates think about it. You know, that's something we think about. Like, man, I can't believe they're ahead of us. But when it comes down to game time, we're concentrating on West Georgia. That's what we're concentrating on right now. Is West Georgia.
Well, and especially those 3 teams ahead of you. Last year, you competed well against all of them, and really, I guess what is that? 12 quarters. You really only had maybe 2 bad quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a good year. But I asked Nick a few minutes ago, 1 o'clock kickoff. The last thing that goes to your mind before you step on the field.
Going through my plays, what I'm going to do. If this happens, what's going to happen? I'm thinking about getting that sack, forced fumble. You know, I'm just thinking about plays to help the team. You know, that's what goes through my mind. Everything is just pictures in the back of my head to go through. So.
Rudy Cabral used to be Superman. You're Superman too now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Troy Harris from Orlando, Florida. When we come back on Inside Line Football with head football coach Tim Clifton, Coach Clifton and I will have our Ask the Coach section, and we'll also get you ready for Saturday against the West Georgia Wolves here on Inside Line Football, presented by Mountain Credit Union. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
All right, welcome back to Inside Line Football with head football coach Tim Clifton. And, Coach, it's time for, of course, Ask the Coach. I got a guy, James from over in Clyde, is going to ask you a question, and it's really more of a institutional question more than it is a football question. Marsville College, of course, and I screwed it up already, but Marsville College switched to Mars Hill University. His question is, how do you think the change athletically will be for Mars Hill University as far as helping you bring other athletes in?
Well, you know, that's been a great question by everyone to say. What do you think it's going to do for you? I think as soon as Dr. Lunsford announced it, to our players, back in the spring that it was going to go to Mars Hill University. You could see their eyes light up.
Yeah.
You could see them get excited about it. So I think it'll help us on the road. I think anytime people can hear that it's a university makes a difference. I don't know why, but it does, and we're excited about going on the road and talking about our institution and that we are moving forward and that we are heading toward the future. And I think that's what every young student looks at is where's each institution going in the future. And I think that just shows that we're heading in the right direction.
And that question was from James over in Clyde, North Carolina. You can email your questions to cam.lsnsports@yahoo.com, and every week we'll pick out a question, and if your question's picked, we'll get you something from Mountain Credit, umbrella or something. I don't know what it is, but we'll get them something. Let's talk about let's talk about your schedule. You and I were talking about it right before the airtime, and probably one of the toughest non-conference schedule for your first 3 games. West Georgia on Saturday. You go on the road 4 days later at Shorter, and then come back 9 days later for a tough one at Colway. Hands very, very full for the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think out of conference, it's. I thought last year's was tough, but this year I think is the toughest out of conference. We play 2 Gulf South schools. Back to back, and then we go and play on the road against Western Carolina. So I'm not sure it can get any tougher than that out of conference.
Right, and the Gulf South Conference, historically really good. So you got 2 of them back to back. West Georgia on Saturday, Shorter. Was that them calling you? Are you calling them? Just sort of a combination.
Well, a year ago, I think. We had a team back out on us, and we had to go play another 1AA all the way out in Missouri, just to get 10 games. And,
I remember that.
I remember that trip. So we were looking for D2 schools to play, and the beauty is they're both D2. They're both in the Gulf South. It's cross region, same region, but cross conference competition. And the Gulf South is one of the strongest Division II conferences in the country. So I think it was a good pick for us. I think having relationships with both Phil Jones and Daryl Dickey at both institutions helped, and I think it's a great opening season for us, for 3 games for our kids to play and to find out where we are,
West Georgia is our opponent on Saturday here in Mirror Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff here in Mirror Stadium. Let's talk about them. The Wolves playing a very tough conference, as we just said, coached by Daryl Dickey, who's been around a long time, and he knows his stuff. But down a little last year, but they're starting to build it back up. But talk about Daryl Dickey and his team from West Georgia.
Well, Daryl was the head coach at Presbyterian at one time. His dad was the head coach at Tennessee at one time and the athletic director at Tennessee, and Daryl played there, and then he coached quarterbacks at Florida State for years, and he is the AD and the head football coach at West Georgia. And looking at their depth chart, it's like I explained to our team today, they've got 1 redshirt freshman in the 2 deep. The rest are juniors and seniors.
Wow. Yeah.
And they've got a lot of veterans coming back that started for them all last year. So they're a veteran team, real big team, a lot bigger than we are, and that conference always has a ton of speed. So West Georgia will have a ton of speed, and it's a school that's maybe 6,000 to 8,000. I'm not sure how many students they have now. At one time it was 3 to 4, and then they continue to grow, and they built a brand new facility that's second to none in Division II there. Wow. So he's got everything going in the right direction.
Marshall has the ball on Saturday. What will the Lions see from the other side of the ball?
Well, we'll see a 3-man front. It's a unique front. It's not only is a three-man stack, but they stack different than most teams stack, and they do a good job of trying to confuse you, and they're real big. Three guys up front are real big, and the linebackers are going to be stunting and going in every direction, and they try to confuse you, and they try to keep you from going full speed and knowing your assignments. So we'll have to pick up a lot of them on the run.
Lions score a lot on Saturday. They head back on the field with Troy Harris and company. What would they see coming at them?
They'll see a read option offense. Spread offense is based off of running the read, the zone, the inside zone, the power G read play, and then they'll see a lot of play action, a lot of what you see around the country each week.
Right, exactly. Let's talk about, as always, our Keys to Victory, sponsored by Mountain Credit Union. Coach, every year it's very important, turnovers, special teams, but give us a key to victory Saturday here in Mirror Stadium against a very tough West Georgia Wolves team.
Well, I think the biggest key in the first game is, like you said, not turning the football over, and we got to manage the ball and hang on to it and keep them off the field. I think the kicking game is huge in the first game. So many mistakes are made in that first game. It's hard to practice live kicking game, so it makes a difference in the first game. And I think the other thing is big plays, broken coverages, and things of that nature. So we got to hang on to the football and be very sound in the kicking game, and then we can't give up any big plays, and we got to try to find a few for ourselves.
Before we go, we talk about it sometimes, but a lot of people have known you for a long, long time. But tell us about your family and how they're doing.
You know, we've lost a daughter. I mean, she lives in Columbia now, and
Went to the dark side.
yeah, she went to Columbia. That's for sure. I've lived in Columbia before myself, but she was a musical theater major here. Graduated 2 years ago, and been in New York now, Columbia, Mariah, and she's living down there and trying to do some work in a theater down there. And Cody, our son, is a junior, or be a senior really, in Marshall this year.
Okay.
He could have graduated a year ago, but he's double majoring in history and now political science. So he will graduate, do his internship this spring, and graduate. And Joy's still head of the department here, physical education department here, and I'll be glad one day when they're all gone, and Joy and I go back to the way it was 13 years before we had children. No, I'm just kidding. They grow so fast.
Right.
They leave you so fast, and it's like I tell the coaches that have young children here, you better enjoy them, because it won't be long before they'll be out of your household.
And that's something that I've noticed being here is, like, after games, all the families are on the field with you, especially your family. They're right there with you, so it's you don't see that very often.
No, you know, and I think that was the thing that surprised Mark Rick, how after the games all our families get together and spend time together. And on Sunday nights, we come together on Sunday nights and have supper together, all the families with all their children, and spend about an hour and a half together.
Kevin Barnett, that's what, about 6?
Yeah, Kevin.
About 6 kids now.
Kevin's 3 kids, and Max 3 kids, and
Oh, that's right,
now
man.
Gales, Coach Gales has got 3, you know, so that'll be at the dinners on Sunday night. So
That's cool.
it's great fellowship, and you know, we've done a real good job in 21 years of keeping our family together.
Really have.
And I think that's the key to the success we've had, is that we've been able to keep everybody together.
Well, Coach, have a good game Saturday. We'll see you after the win.
Appreciate it.
All right. This Saturday, 1 o'clock kickoff right here in Mirror Stadium, West Georgia Wolves and your Mars Hill University Lions. 12 o'clock is In the Huddle on this Coca-Cola Football Saturday. We'll be on live on www.mhclions.com, redzonemedia.com, and remember, you can go to redzonemedia.com, hit the TuneIn Radio app, and you can listen to the game while you're watching it right here in Mirror Stadium. But if you can't come to the game, shame on you, but at least watch us here on www.mhclions.com and the Lions Sports Network. So that's 12 o'clock for In the Huddle on this Coca-Cola Football Saturday. For Coach Tim Clifton, thanks for the LSN guys, Matt Vader, Rick Baker, Jonathan Thomas, Chris Hensley, all those guys who can make it happen. And we'll see you Saturday here inside Mir Stadium for West Georgia and your Mars Hill Lions. For the Lions Sports Network, I'm Cam Dowell. Have a great evening and go Lions.